Alright, welcome to this screencast. We're going to see how to create unit tests with NetBeans and show a little bit of TDD, which stands for Test-Driven Development. First, let's create a new project in NetBeans. We're going to call it Example1. We're going to create a simple class called Calculator that does some basic math operations. That's the class we'll be unit testing, so we don't need the main class generated for us. Let's leave that out for now. So, our project is created and it is empty. We are going to create a new class called Calculator. We select the new Java class from the menu and we type in the class name, which is Calculator. And as the warning message suggests, we're not going to place the class in the default unnamed package, but we're going to place it in a package called Example1, same as our project name, but in lowercase. Okay, and here it is. We have our calculator class. Let's write a small comment here that explains what the class is about. And now it's time to write our first method. The method is called add, and as the name suggests, it simply adds two numbers together and returns the result. By clicking on the method name, we see a hint on the left side of the editor. If we click on the hint, we can get some help from NetBeans. In this case, NetBeans can automatically create the missing Javadoc comment for our method. We click on it and we can type in what our method does. Okay, let's create the unit test. We right-click on the class, select Tools, Create Tests. We can also do that on the package level, which will create the test for every class in our package. But for now, let's just do it for our calculator class. Just use the default options here and select the latest, say, unit. We get the test packages folder on the left side and the calculator test class generated for us automatically. The package name remains the same, so the unit test has access to all package members of the class. We get a skeleton class for our unit test. We're not going to deal with the setup and teardown methods for now, they're invoked before and after a test case is run. The auto-generated code contains a test add method that tests our add method basically. We can run the unit tests by right-clicking the calculator class and select test file. And the test fails because the auto-generated test contains a method call that fails the test with a message this test case is a prototype. On the right side we see the output window, that's the output of system.out. We'll change the message to something else so that we can see that it will appear there. And let's change the default variables of the test. So now we'll be testing that adding 1 plus 1 with our calculator returns in fact 2. Now that we know what we're testing, we remove the method call that failed the test and try again. And it succeeds. And the message is on the output window. Okay, now we'll do a bit of TDD. We're going to create a test for a method that doesn't even exist yet. It's called test subtract, and we'll stick to the format of the test add method that NetBeans auto-generated. So first it prints a message to the output window. Then we have some variables that hold the parameters of our method. Next we're going to instantiate the calculator, the class that we are unit testing. And we have another variable that holds the expected result of the subtract operation. So 6 minus 4 should be 2. And another variable that holds the actual result of calling the subtract method. But the subtract method doesn't exist yet, so we get a red squiggly line there. Nevertheless, we continue and we assert that the actual result is as expected. Let's also write a small comment for this unit test, or for this test case. We see the red squiggly line that says the subtract method does not exist. We are going to generate it automatically by clicking on that method call, and we follow the hint on the left side of the editor. And we create the method in the calculator class. If we switch back to the calculator class, we'll see that it now has a subtract method. And there it is. Notice that it's not public because the unit test and this class are in the same package, but we want this method to be part of the calculator API, so we're going to make it public. Let's also add the documentation of the method. Notice that the auto-generated method just throws an unsupported operation exception, and the parameter names are the same as the names of the variables we used in the test. Also that the return type of the method is the type of the variable we used in the test to hold the result of the method call. So if we run the tests again, using the play button on the test results panel, we'll notice that one succeeds and one test fails. The test that fails is obviously the one that throws the exception, so let's implement the method by subtracting y from x. And we remove the exception, and if we run the tests again, they should succeed. So both tests passed. On the right side we see the output messages of both test cases. And one last comment about the assert equals method. It's not a method of our class, but it is a method of the assert class of JUnit. If we type assert dot, we see a lot of assert methods that we can use directly, and the reason that we can use them directly without typing assert dot in front of them is that the auto-generated unit test from NetBeans does a static import on all members of the assert class. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this screencast.